What's up, Joe Joe in the morning, family? I hope you are having a super good day. What I want to talk to you about today is who you run with matters. Who you run with matters. Okay, before I get into that, I want to tell you that mentoring with Joe Joe Dawson is about to start in June. Super excited about this. We've been in our ministry, our apostolic network, we've been doing mentoring for years. And then I have a lot of people through Joe Joe in the morning have been asking me, do I do mentoring? What this is going to be is it is going to be a Facebook group that I am going to make deposits into every day. Now I am going to have a set video that comes out once a week. I'm going to have some pop-up videos, a bunch of different encouraging, motivating, and things to help you work on your commitment and consistency to whatever you are called to do. A lot of people are going to get into this group and they're going to focus on ministry. Some's going to focus on business. Some's going to focus on their personal walk with God. Whatever you want to move forward in, I will help you with that. And then we're going to see where this group goes. One thing I love about it, I'm not going to promise 3 or 4 different levels or anything of what we're going to do, but we're going to have a group, and it's going to be to where whenever I make a post, people can have conversations in there. It's going to be a place where you can message me certain things you may want videos on. I love Joe Joe in the morning, but sometimes I feel almost like they're good at the level they're at, but I don't have the interaction with all of the people that are watching. And so I want to have the interaction, and I want to be able to take things to the next level. Like when I go preach places, they say, how long do you want to work altars? I say, I want to pray for everybody. And when you go to churches that have, I was at one recently, I had about 400 people, and I said, I will literally walk by and pray for every single person in this place because I love having the interaction. I've noticed over my life that when I have somebody in my life, I grow. And I'm talking about in whatever area that I want to develop in. Also, I've noticed when people get close to my wife and I in in our church, in ministry, in one of our businesses, or whatever it may be, when I have that voice in their life, they grow because I constantly move forward. There's a few things I don't like. I don't like excuses. I don't like negativity. I like people that are ready to move forward. If this is sounding interesting to you, in the links below, I'll have a link you can hit for mentoring with Joe Joe Dawson. It's going to start up. If you don't want to do that, that's great. Keep watching Joe Joe in the morning. Now let's talk about who you run with matters. I can go back and look at every area of my life that I have. Like there was times I got in the rent house business. I found 2 gentlemen who would not mind speaking in my life, helping me develop. And so we jumped in and doing rent houses, owner finance homes, and I had people speak into my life. I remember one time I was playing a lot of softball. I used to love softball. And a guy who was the number 3rd ranked softball player in the nation lived in our city. We became real good friends. And we would go, take BP all the time. There's been times in my life when I remember going to the gym when I was younger, and my workout partners, they like to talk and hang out. That's cool, go in the gym, hang out, work out a little bit, talk a little bit. But then I saw these 2 bulls in the corner working out. They were on the swole patrol. I walked over there and said, guys, I'm going to start working out with. They said, bro, we don't play, we don't talk a whole lot. We in here to get it. And so I'd still go with my friends some, but I also had times except I went with these guys and got serious about it. I knew that when the Lord was calling me to really move forward into ministry, I would always position myself with different people to speak into my life. Now, I have people that speak into my life, and then I have peers that I run with. You learn from both. I have an apostle, a spiritual mentor, who's about 20 years older than me, been doing ministry a lot longer than I have. And then I've got friends that I run with. Same thing with business. I've got business friends that we run with, that we talk on a weekly basis. I've got mentors in business that speak in my life. In every area of my life that I want to grow, I have 2 things. I have a mentor, and then I also have a peer, like friends that are, same level. And it's so important because who you run with really, really matters. Had this guy recently want to jump on a phone call with me, and we talk about every 2 months. And when we get on the phone call, he just kind of like, and we started talking, and I felt my spirit getting grieved. And I said, well, bro, I can give you your answer real quick, what you're talking about. And I gave it to him. Then he went back into something else, and my spirit was getting grieved. I said, bro, look, man, who do you run with? Well, what do you mean? Who's your mentor? Really don't have one. Who's your like close friend? I don't have one. I said, bro, look, I love you. My wife and I got multiple ministries and businesses. I have so many. There's some days I will get close to over 1,000 emails, texts, messages, notifications, and I can only respond to so many, and phone calls. And so the thing is, I have to guard my time. That's why I'm going to do this mentoring, because I can reach more people to have interaction with, versus, just like I love when people email me for prayer, but then I wonder, how did the prayer go? Like, where are they at in their life? Do they have somebody walking them through this, or are they just out there by themselves? And so my wife and I have really been praying about how we can run with more people, even online. On every Sunday at our church, at World Church, people are coming in from around the nation to meet us and hang out with us for the weekend or something. But who you run with matter. Who you run with matters. I've got a few friends that, like I said, ministry and my different businesses I have, that I talk with every single week. Like my wife, she has set up phone calls with different women. Some are business acquaintances, some are in ministry, and some are both. And so she has these calls with these ladies, and then, like mentors to her. And she has those calls as well, because if you want to succeed in any area, you need people. It's so cool, but I got like two friends that are like, they're like me. They're ministers, they're prophetic dreamers, and they're business people. Now, we have different types of businesses, but like every week, we message back and forth and talk about, hey, what are you feeling? What are you sensing? What's going on? You just need those people in your life. Sometimes you get them locally, sometimes they're not. You got to be friends through like Zoom, or phone call or whatever it may be. But, who you run with really, really matters. And I remember one day, my kids, all three of my kids, different times, I've told them like, hey, that one friend you got, I don't got a good feeling about them. And 100% of the time, it turns out that, not to be good. Same thing. I tell my kids sometimes, now that little friend right there, that's a good friend right there. They're still friends with all them. I mean, it's just like you can tell by people's character and their morality and how they talk who you need to be around. Listen, I'm telling you something. Don't ever be impressed with people's gifts or their talents. That does not impress me. You know what impresses me? Character, integrity, morality. That impresses. That's who I want to hang out with. I tell you what, I know some of the greatest preachers that y'all probably like that I wouldn't spend 10 minutes with. That I know preachers that y'all don't even know that I'd go hang out with all day. Yeah, listen, I don't care about multimillionaire businessmen if they don't have any integrity. I'm telling you, character and integrity is where it's at. And who you run with matters. Had a guy leaned into some mentoring a few years back, and oh man, some big businessmen were reaching out to him, and I said, bro, they got all the toys. They got the toys. Don't run with them. This is what I told him. I said, they your daytime friends. You can be friends with them, but they ain't no good after 5 o'clock. You don't need to mess with them. And when I was younger, I used to have a bunch of what I called my daytime friends. We may go hunt together, go play ball together, and But when the sun went down, I couldn't hang out with them. You know, who you run with really matters, especially in ministry. I remember one time, man, I was getting to preach at this conference. I got invited to preach at this conference. I mean, it was going to be powerful. Man, they had phenomenal worship people. They had phenomenal speakers. And the Holy Spirit told me not to go. And I was just like, now this happened to me a lot of times. And I was like, well, God, what do you mean? I can't go. I didn't go. They said one of the speakers there said some stuff that completely goes against what I believe in. And they said a few of the people doing the ministry, they went out after the service and did a few things they shouldn't have, that I wouldn't agreed with. And I'm like, thank God, because I just stand up for what I believe in. I remember one time I was at this one conference. When it was over, all the ministers kind of got together and they were going to transport us back to our, hotels and different things. And one of the other ministers was like, hey, Joe Joe, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. He goes, you ever social drink? I said, Lord, no, I don't drink. And one of the other ministers was like, because they know me, man, I'm straight-laced. I don't do that stuff. I don't do that stuff. Everybody believes differently. Who you run with matters. I want you to think about this. If you're in ministry, who's your 3 closest ministry friends? If you're in business, who's your 3 closest business friends? If you go to a church, who are your 3 friends you hang out with the most? And you know what? My answers are not the greatest. It's not the biggest, most gifted people. It's the ones with character and integrity. It's the ones that don't compromise. That's who I run with. They're the ones who have long-term fruit in their life. 100%. That's what I got for you today. Who you run with matters. Another thing, I have people, hey man, I got this big conference. Big? What do you mean big? Oh, I got 5 speakers coming in. Who you got? Oh, I don't know. I need to know before I come. And then I have had the Lord say go, but, I hate doing this sometimes, but like if it's like a 3-day weekend, sometimes you fly in, do your session, and fly back. And as life gets busy, you have to do that sometimes. But, even the way the world's going, you got to guard yourself, watch yourself in life. Integrity matters. Who you run with matters. Okay? If you want to run with us and you want to join this mentoring, like I said, I like to let everybody know what they're getting. What this is going to be, it's going to be a Facebook group. I'm going to put something in there every day. Sometimes it's going to be quotes that we can talk about. I'm going to go back in there. I'm going to answer a bunch of questions and things people talk about. And I'm going to be involved. It's going to be one of the main things I do, because I want to impact people's lives at a greater degree than just them watching one of my videos. Okay? And then as time goes on, it's going to grow and it's going to develop, and we're going to do different things and with it. But right now, this is where we're going to start. And I'm super excited about it. All right? I love you guys, and I hope you'll have a super blessed day.